Greased In. I'm Brad, and today on the channel we have a very special amp. This is a Wizzard MC2. This is the classic Wizzard circuit. This is an actual Wizzard, not a clone or whatever. This is on loan from a guy named Simon, who works on my amps. I also have a custom build that he did, which is based on EVH style head. We'll be visiting that in a separate video. So today is exclusively about the Wizzard MC2. I pretty much have been playing this for about a week or two now, and I've dialed it in to sit like where I like it to be in my setup. So using it mostly for high gain. I'll do some crunch demos today. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. This is a really unique opportunity to play a very expensive amp. Hoping to answer the question, you know, is it worth it? This amp I think retails for like around $6,500 if you buy it new from Rick, the designer, and we'll find out. All right, so the video today, I'm basically doing the same setup I always do with the Soldano 412 with a H75 and a V30 in a next pattern, each with an SM57. That's going into my Scarlet preamp. I'll start out with no pedals on, but occasionally I'll be throwing in the Super Overdrive or the Dybbuk or the Duality or the KHDK Ghoul Mini. There's also a power station. At some point I'll demonstrate cranking the amp, and I'll use the power station, but for now at least that'll be off. And yeah. Just gonna give you a quick rundown of the controls here on the Wizzard. So to start off with, we have a contour control. This is a negative feedback control. There's a presence knob. It has a pull function to engage the loop. The bass, middle, treble, pretty standard control layout. There is a pull boost on the rhythm and the lead channel. So the lead channel is currently engaged. And then the gain knob pulls to engage the lead channel. And then the rhythm channel, it just has a master volume with no pull pot. And then it has a pull pot on the rhythm gain. It's kind of hard to see, but that's the gain. And that engages another boost. I'll try to input some information about this. Apparently it's a type of pedal that Rick designed and built at the time, and that's what's installed in here. He kind of changes up the MC2 periodically, and these are also custom made to each customer, so there can be different requests based on that. But I will say it's a very transparent boost. It doesn't really add a lot of grit or grind. You get a little more of that out of the lead boost here, but both boosts are kind of transparent, and I just leave them on because it really does need the extra gain. I would assume that this is kind of where the diode clipping comes in. At some point, like you might know already, these are generally based on a Marshall Silver Jubilee, and the Silver Jubilee does have diodes in the preamp, as does this. However, the schematic is quite different, and I've never played a Jubilee, but this amp does sound tremendous. So. Okay, over on the back side of the Wizzard, there are two bright knobs that I just leave at noon. I might turn those up a little bit. It's kind of a dark sounding amp, I would say. There's two loop levels. Yeah, not a ton going on back here. There are some, I believe these are for foot switches and for foot switchable boosts, but I don't have a foot switch for this, so I'll just be doing all that on the front panel. It's got 4 EL34s in there, and it has really massive iron inside of it. Mercury magnetics transformers. Alright, so right now I have my, this is a Edwards Les Paul custom. It's a John Sykes signature model Les Paul. Yeah, it has Avedissian Trailblazer in the bridge. It's about 17K ohms. And so yeah, let's plug straight into the Wizzard. I've got no pedals on or anything. And these are the settings, and yeah. So there you go. I mean, the Wizard is a very open sounding amp. It's sort of like a medium gain. This is with the boost engaged and onboard boost, and the gain is maxed out. So that's pretty much what you got on the lead channel. I'll try dialing back the gain a little bit, and I'll turn off the boost. There's no boost. Dial back the gain a little bit. This is kind of what you get. Clean it up a little bit here. Just a little bit of my chorus pedal. All right, so that's not really what we're here for, obviously. I mean, I'm a gain freak. Let's go through some of the controls, though. Turn the gain back up. Gain. The boost. Yeah, I'm pretty low volume right here, just on 2. I mean, it gets extremely loud, extremely fast. So that's where we'll leave it for now, and I'll start cranking it in a minute here with the power station. So yeah, let's try turning the contour knob up. Yeah, that's killer, huh? So back to where it was, just for comparison. Turn it all the way down, it gets significantly quieter, but it's extremely much more saturated when it's turned down, and much more open, and more highs and more volume when you turn it up. Turn down a little bit because most of the amps in my collection tend to have a little more negative feedback, so this kind of makes them sit a little bit better together, and so that the wizard's not just blowing them away. There's a really special like low end characteristic to this amp, which I like a lot, and it has a lot of thud and a lot of actually going to turn up the volume a little bit. Also got a ton of string clarity and just kind of like a very like elastic feel to it. It's very boutique-y, I would say. It's a very boutique sounding head. I like it a lot. I just think it needs a little more gain. So, I mean, but with a pedal, it's just right where it needs to be. And I'll engage a super overdrive now, a Boss SD1. So here's what that sounds like. And I kind of got ahead of myself here. Let's go back to the controls. So presence, you know what that does. It's in the right place. Okay, look, turn up the bass all the way. You hear pretty good just with all the controls set the same. I mean, has a very good balanced voicing. Has a lot of that Marshall Kerrang in it. You know, it has a lot of top end you can dial in and stuff like that. So if you're a Marshall lover, this is kind of like the holy grail, I guess. You know, it's just got a lot of string clarity, a lot of note separation. It's probably the right amount of gain on tap for a hard rock tone or hard rock band. So yeah, I mean, I can see why so many guys like Billy Gibbons or you know Angus Young or Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest are kind of always using these things in the studio and such. They just have a really great like clear open tone, so you can hear what you're doing. You know, it's not a very forgiving amp. I mean, you have to be kind of like on it with your playing, and like it definitely lends itself more, I would say, to hard rock playing with like big chords and power chords and open chords than it does to like say chuggy death metal, you know. Although I will use a low tune guitar at the end of this video. So yeah, let's go back to the overdrives. You've heard the SD1. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna turn on the Dybbuk. Kind of like the Dybbuk a little better with this. Has more of a low mid emphasis. So yeah, let's So you might be wondering why I haven't used the rhythm channel yet, and I find the rhythm channel has way too little gain for what I like to play. It's also a good bit louder than the lead channel, which I find very odd. You have to adjust the master volumes to match in a different way. But we'll try that out now. I'm gonna turn off the drive. So this is the rhythm channel. The boost is on. For this channel, it has its own separate boost. You can't dial in the gain on the boost, which is kind of unfortunate. I wish I had a little more push, and I could be able to adjust that at the back. There is a bright knob though. I think I might turn up the bright a little bit. It sounds a little bit dark to me. So I'm gonna turn up the bright on the rhythm channel. All right, it's around 7 right now. It's a little bit higher. throw an overdrive on that Dybbuk. I'll compare it to the lead channel. Adds an additional gain stage, you know. It could be diodes. I'm not really sure exactly. I should have done more research, I guess. But anyways, I definitely prefer the lead channel. It just has more gain. I think it could still use more gain, which I think I would like the MTL or the Hellraiser more than this if I was to buy a Wizard, which, you know, we'll talk about that, you know, at the end. So yeah, we'll do some detuning now. I'll bring up my C standard tuned guitar, and we'll see how it handles lower tunings. So here I have my BC Rich Bitch. It's a 10 string. It has a 6 string right now. It's in C standard. It has 2 bare knuckle aftermats, and I still have the Dybbuk engaged. It's basically my favorite overdrive, so I'll probably just leave it on for now. And we're on the, should be on the, oh, let's go back to the lead channel. Probably gonna be done with the rhythm channel at this point. So we're on the lead channel, and here we go. yeah, it's definitely very clanky. Kind of like got a lot of upper mid grind. So it has a very like attack, a lot of attack to the palm mutes, and just generally it just projects. It's a really good combination with these pickups, which are already kind of very clear and very like high-end sounding, kind of a lot of gain. But so we'll turn the contour down a little bit, see if we can get it to get a little bit more hair. It really doesn't have a ton of hair, like me. Ah. Black Sabbath riffs, because Back to the Beginning just happened, and I fucking love Black Sabbath. That's like my favorite band, so always has been, always will be. Hell yeah. Anyways, yeah, I really like this tone. I find it to be a little bit more dry than what I would normally like. I like a little more saturation, but it's not fizzy, not loose, really, not, you know, it just kind of has a very solid rock tone. Which can go into sort of like metal with a boost, but not into like modern metal by any means. I think it's more of a classic rock amp with some like classic metal vibes. I'm gonna try a different boost. I'm gonna turn on the KHDK Ghoul Screamer. It kind of adds some hair a little bit sometimes. Try to get a little more saturation out of this thing. So yeah, we're going to check out the power section of the Wizard MC2. It has only a presence control, so no resonance control. It doesn't really need a resonance. I feel like it has a ton of low end as is. Anyways, I'm going to run the power station. We're going to dial in a few overdriven power amp tone. So just to demonstrate what I'm doing, I'll toggle on and off the power attenuator so you can hear that it's relatively neutral at the current settings. Here's just a quick riff. So this is here is the amp unattenuated. Here it is attenuated. So it's pretty much the same. I might add a little bit of presence. Just a tiny fraction of high end. Sounded like maybe got lost, but sounds pretty close to my ears in the room. You know, you might be able to hear. It might sound a little different through the microphone, but pretty much have to do it this way for cranking the amp because I don't want to blow up my eardrums. So we're gonna boost the master up to about here, and I'm gonna reduce the volume on the attenuator. So yeah, this amp, I don't really like the crank tone as much as I do the normal tone. Some amps like the slow or the, you know, this Jet City over here, or you know, the Yamaha. I do really like the way they compress, especially the Marshall. JMP is like, you have to crank it almost, you know, to get that tone. But this one, it kind of just starts to break up in a way that's a little bit more muddy. It could be due to the transformers being mercury magnetics, probably. I don't know. But turn it up to 6. Which is ridiculous. Turn it down a little bit more, yeah. Okay. And the Dybbuk has been on this whole time. I don't know if I said that or not, but for this section, the Dybbuk has been on. Yeah, so it could be a little more compressed now. Boost it one additional bit. I don't like to go all the way on this. So it's not my amp, but we'll try it again. Yeah. So today for the shootout, I'm going to basically set the master on this so that it sounds the best to my ears. So we're going to eliminate the power station and run it back down where it was at the beginning part of the video, because I just feel like it sounds best before the power amp starts distorting and all of that. And like, you know, you're never going to play that loud and all that. And certain amps sound better, I know. So the JMP is going to sound less pissed off, I guess, because it doesn't sound as good at lower volumes. But you will be able to hear what it sounds like this time at lower volumes. If you want to hear what it sounds like in higher volumes, the JMP, you can listen to some of my other videos where I have the amps more cranked. So, so yeah, I'm gonna set that up and we'll get back into it. All right, guys, I'm just gonna run you through some of my settings right now. So this is the Wizard. I am on the lead channel with the boosters engaged. Okay, and then over next to it here we have the Marshall JMP 2203. It has a hot mod with both switches are in the up position, so bass and extra gain. Those are the settings. There is a Jet City JCA 100 without the depth mod. These are the settings. And there is a Quebec GupTech pedal with the depth control on in that position. The Dybbuk is engaged, and the power station is off. This is a Bogner Uber Ultra. Those are the settings here. So those are the settings for the channel 2. The boost is off. There's a Soldano that's been modified by Dave Friedman, and there's a video on that. Yeah, and then the mod switch is in the up position. Those are the settings. Okay. And then down here we have the Yamaha T100. Those are the settings. My diesel is on loan right now in exchange for this, a Mystery Science Head. Mystery Science Head. I have this BC Rich Ironbird Mark II in D standard with a Avedissian Railsplitter in the bridge. I'm running a Microcline Audio Dybbuk overdrive pedal in front of all these amps. The volumes are set at different levels. I mean, you can't really judge by the numbers, but I will take pictures, and these are the accurate settings that I'm using for this with no power station. This is just raw amp tone. It is probably a bit above rehearsal volume or thereabouts. It is rehearsal volume, so this is pretty loud for me. To begin with, I'm just gonna jam a little bit through each amp and tell you which one I'm playing through, and then we'll do a loop and then compare them directly. So yeah, let's get started. We'll start out with the Wizard. Now we'll switch to the Bogner Uber Ultra. So next we'll do the Soldano SLO 100 with the Friedman modification. Next we're going to do the JMP. This is a Marshall JMP. Alright, next we'll switch on over to the Jet City. Awesome. All right, here's the T100. And then the last amp is the mystery amp. Killer, the mystery amp rules. So yeah, last thing we'll do is we'll set up a loop and we'll just go back and forth between the Wizard and every other amp. So let's do that. Alright, so we got our loop. We're going to start off with the Wizard. Here's the Wizard. Alright, now we're going to switch over to the JMP. Now we'll try the Jet City. This is the Jet City. Here's the T100, it's the Yamaha T100. All right, here's the SLO. Here's the Bogner Uber Ultra. So here is the mystery amp. And one more time, the Wizard to finish it off. Alright, so there you have it, you guys. Just to summarize, I mean, like, all these amps are fantastic, you know. I mean, anybody should be lucky enough to own one of them, let alone, like, I'm sitting on like 7 or 8 amps right now. 3 of them are on loan, but you know, it's still quite impressive. So anyways, I can't really pick a favorite because they all kind of have their own like interesting qualities. But as far as the Wizard goes, you know, it's a fine amplifier. The build quality on this thing is very nice. I really think that he's outdoing himself as far as like setting the standard extremely high for just the way an amp looks and is manufactured. The knobs are a little bit loose. This amp has been gigged and it's been owned by its owner for several years, so I don't know if that's normal, but you know, so a couple little things as far as that goes, but everything else is fine. There's no issues with the performance of the amplifier. All the features work just fine. It just kind of lacks gain and saturation for what I like. You know, it's probably the driest sounding of all my amps. You know, maybe a hot mod in there, just like an extra gain stage would really spice it up a bit. So I'm interested to try an MTL if anybody has one, they want to send it to me. That'd be cool. But yeah, I'm really happy, and thanks Simon for letting me borrow this and shoot this video. So I'll be featuring his other amp in another video, so stick tuned for that. And yeah, if there's anything you guys want to see, put it in the comments section. And until next time, stay greasy.